There it is. I see it.
Hi there, and welcome to this webinar today. I'm going to be talking to you about using the Book Creator app, which is an app you can access on your district iPad. So I really love Book Creator because it really gets students creating in your classroom. And my name is Andrea Blankenship. I am at Saxe High School where I teach family and consumer science courses. And my moderator today is Coach Adame from the Pathfinder Achievement Academy. And Coach Adame is going to be moderating the chat. So if you have any questions, please feel free. And if you have any comments or great suggestions, we'd love to see those as well. Thank you for joining us today. So I'm going to cover a couple of ISTE standards. And the first one is how to make your student a knowledge constructor. I really love this app because it really gets students creating. It's a great way for them to show you any information they've gathered, and they're obviously using media and different technology resources. And it really makes your students utilize their data and break apart any information they find. And so being a computational thinker is the other ISTE standard that we will cover today. So I'm not sure if you've ever seen Book Creator before, but it is available in our district self-service app. So teaching high school on the iPad, all the students have to do is download it from that self-service, and it's readily available. If you try to download it from the App Store, it's usually about $4.99 or $5.99. So make sure your kids are going through self-service. And there are so many uses for Book Creator. Whether you teach an elective like I do or a core class, choir, music, it can be used for band. There are so many ways that every teacher can use this app in their class. So I listed a few ideas here, and then I'm going to show you some examples. And then I've attached at the end a really great link where there are 50 or more ideas on how to use Book Creator in your classroom. The very first thing you do once you download your app and you click on it is you will see at the very top left-hand corner of your app an option to create a new book. Usually it will be blank, but I have some things filled in on mine, so you see some things already there. But all you do is click that new book, and then it gives you several options. So you have several views you could choose from: the portrait view, the square view, or the landscape. And then below, there are some comic book options, which are really neat and fun to use. And there are actually several that you could scroll down and see more of. But for the sample I'm going to focus on the landscape. I really like the landscape one. When students create on this one, it's really a split page, so they can get two different pages side by side. And the first thing you do when you create your page is you start with your cover page. And I like to just begin with a color or a background scheme. You can have a picture or a color, whatever you decide you would like to do. And in order to get there, you just go up to the top right corner where this arrow is pointing, and there's a little inspector button, the little eye. And then over here, it gives you a color palette, and there are many choices. And it's just got paper options and then many colors. And so this is how you would create a solid color background. You have several other options as well. And if you go back up to the very top of your screen, you'll see that there's a plus sign. And the plus sign is really where you're going to do the majority of your creating in this app. You can see that the options allow you to add photos, which you really could make as your whole background screen. You can layer things in this app really easily. You can go to your camera and take live pictures or videos. There's the option for pen where you can write on top of whatever is there. You can add text boxes, and then you can add sound. If you click the add sound button, it actually takes you to any playlist or any music that you have loaded onto your iPad. So there's some really good choices there. I'm going to start with a photo example just to kind of get a page set up for you. So over here, when you click that photos button, it basically just takes you to your photo stream on your iPad, and anything that is saved in your photo stream is an option for you to display on your book. So I added a picture down here, and then I wanted to show you the option of a pen. I think this is really great for like annotating work, or where students can jot notes if the teacher has put a picture or something on a page. And so this option is really simple. You just click the little pen button and you can change the colors, or you can highlight. So if you had a passage put on your page and you wanted students to highlight certain vocabulary words or pick out the adjectives, highlighting would be a really great way that your students could do that. So in this app, you can layer and put quite a few things on the same page. And here's where you can do a little bit more of that. If you go back to your plus sign, one of your options was to add shapes. You click on the very bottom, it gives you the opportunity to add the thought bubbles or different shapes. And so here's what it looks like. I added another picture and then I put a little thought bubble or a little a text box. And so I added this image. If you add one of the pictures that is a text box or a thinking bubble, it gives you automatic place to add text. But if you were to add an image like this, a shape, then you would have to insert a text box on top. But here's an example of how a student could creatively show their thoughts on something that you've shared with them, or they could work out a math problem and put their thoughts and their answers on this type of format. So once you've created your first page, it's really simple to add a new one. You just look for the little arrow on the right side of your page. And this is how you start over with your creating, and you start from scratch, just like we did on this one. So I really like that they have several different options for backgrounds, and the picture is a little light on this screen, but what I added on here was a grid, and they have a large grid and a small grid, a couple different options you can choose from. Of course, you could take a picture of a grid you would like and place that as your background where students could write on top of. And then on this example, I just went to the pen and students could plot points in a design like this. Now, Book Creator is really great for photo journals, for video journals. I thought it would be really cool if someone was doing a science fair project and was journaling their progress through each step of their project. And all you do is just go to your photo stream, and if you've made a video or your students have made a video, they just upload it here, and then you can go and look at their book and view their progress. I think this might be great in a flipped classroom as well, where the teacher could post their lesson and students could come in and jot comments or answer questions, all in this type of format. And all of this really right here is done through your photo stream. So the great thing to know about Book Creator is anything that you can save to your photo stream can easily be inserted into this Book Creator. One of the apps that I like to mix and smash together with Book Creator is Voki for Education, which is also in the self-service for GISD students. I really love it for kids who are maybe a little shy, or maybe kids that have a disability. You can easily go into Voki, and I won't introduce that whole app, but it's really easy and simple to use, where you can create a little avatar and they will do the talking for you. So you just upload whatever video you create to your iPad's photo stream, and then you can insert that into your Book Creator as well. You could also do that with Edmodo or many other varieties of avatar type platforms. So one of the other options, if you were creating a book, one of the formats in the very beginning was a comic book format. I really love the comic. I think it's great for lots of different projects. I'm going to show you an example of how you could use it. So once you click comic book, the main difference that you'll notice with the comic book format is every slide automatically gives you the option to take a picture or add a photo, and it's going to automatically format it and fit it to the space provided. So for this example, I'm going to choose the panels. And here's an example of how you could lay out your pictures. All I did was click in each box and add a picture from my photo stream. Again, coming to the plus sign. And each picture I added automatically was fit to size in the square. So kids could add words, they could add videos, they could add pictures, all kinds of ways that they could get their information to you. And then the really cool thing is, once you've done that, you can go back to your plus sign and you can really make it look like a comic strip. Once you click that plus sign, you have some options over here that are just basically for the comic portion. You've got your speech bubbles, your thought bubbles. You can add text. So an example of text that was added is right here on this top left square. I just click the add text button and type in my message, and it pops into whichever square I would like it. I can click it and drag it. I can copy it to another square. And then something else I really like was the stickers, like where you get the boom, the comic book looking stickers. So that's really cool to add as well. If you add text and you click on that button, it gives you options for titles, not just your regular text box, but you can add a title and you can display it up and down, or you can do it sideways. You can put a different title in each box. Something else I really like about using the comic strip is I think this is a really great way for students to illustrate their writing or have a picture of a historical monument and give a report about it. Anything that you can find a picture of or you want a split format for, this book creator is so simple and easy to use. So an example would be telling the story of the very first Christmas tree, or having a picture of the Statue of Liberty and having your students do a little writing sample that goes side by side. And they really could just make a book of historical monuments or any of the topics that you might be covering in your class. So under this comic book, there are lots of options on ways you could split your screen. And I really like that it gives students so many options. So I wanted to show an example of what a book might look like once it's completed. So in the very beginning, when we created our new book, one of them was called a side-by-side book. And this is an example of one that was created that was used as a public service announcement or a brochure. So one of the topics I was teaching was different types of dating violence and abuse. And so it is so simple for kids to come in, add pictures, thought bubbles. Here they just added shapes instead of bullet points just to make it a little more creative. And you can tell your students up front, you have to create 5 pages. It lets them keep on adding pages. I think you can go up to 20 pages in the basic app for students. So they could make this really long, or it could just be really short, like a brochure. Another example is a single page format. And this is a book that was written like a toddler book in one of my classes when we covered toddler development. So it was a book written in simple language where we added some photos and then words that would be applied to each page. And I just gave an example of 8 pages and how a student could cover the material they've learned in that type of format. The next one is a square book. And so this would be a great one for any age group, but you could do an all about me book. So remember, anytime you add your picture, it could be a video blog. So you could click on your video and it could tell someone about you. An example is I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, I'm a friend, but something I really love about the book creator, and you can do this in any format that you like, is that you have the option to have this app read your book aloud. So there is a place at the very top of each page, and it looks like a little play button. And if you click that, you get several options where you can have this app read the book to you. And then you can even go in and be a little more specific from there as well. So if you were to click on this arrow button, it then takes you to the Read to Me section. You can adjust the levels of your volume. You can even choose the type of voice you want. You could have words highlighted as the voice is speaking them. I think this would be so great for elementary kids who are struggling in reading or trying to identify certain sight words. I love that it gives options like this. You can play multimedia. You can have it set at a certain speed where your pages will turn automatically. So there really are some great options, and this app is super easy to use. You can be very specific, and each child could be very versatile in how they set up their book to be read aloud. So once you guys have finished creating a book, there are several options on how to save it. You can always just keep it in your app. But one thing to note, in the student app with GISD, students are only allowed to create 2 books, and then the app won't allow them to create anymore. So a way I found to remedy this was each time my students create a book, I have them download it. And so you can see the little button there.
Come to the front office immediately.
So once you hit the download button, then you really get several options on how to export your book. The ones that I use regularly are the export as an EPUB, and you could have students save this in their iBooks app on their iPad. I most often have kids export it as a PDF, but you can also have them export it as a video. I have not set up anything online, a specific teacher account where they could publish it online, but you do have the option as a teacher where you can set up an account and your students would log in under that account as well. So I'm going to show you an example of what it would look like if I exported as a PDF. It's super simple. Once your kids hit that export button and they say export as whatever style they want, they have all of the options here on places to save it. They can go ahead and do the EPUB and copy it to iBooks from here, send it straight to your Google Classroom. I always have my kids save it in their drive. That way, whether they've turned it into my classroom or not, they have access to it at all times in their drive, and then they can upload it to the classroom from there. And so once you hit save to your drive, you have to choose where you want it to go, and I just select a folder, and it's going to save as a PDF, and it always is called a new book, and then you have to go in and change the title once it's saved in your drive. But here's how it pulls up. It's really easy. It uploads very fast, and then you can share it, download it, or turn it in from there. I think this app is probably one of the easiest ones that I've shared with my students. And one of the things I like is once you click on the book creator, there is a really short tutorial within the app, and it walks through all of these things I just showed you. It doesn't go into great detail on how to add videos and things like that, but if it's in your photo stream, remember, anything in your photo stream can easily be imported into this book creator. So I attached a link onto this page. There's a really great website. There's actually multiple great websites, but I love this one. And if you go to this website, there are 50 ideas on how you could incorporate Book Creator into your lessons. And it's ranging in grades from kindergarten all the way through high school. I love that they offer options on there for how to incorporate it into electives and music classes. It'd be a really great way for students in band to turn in samples of music that they've played or turn in assignments that they've done musically by recording it. There's just so many ways that you could use this no matter what type of course you teach. And I really hope that you'll give it a try. It is really simple to use. In high school, I give my kids the app, ask them to download it, and they figured it out so quickly. They were the ones that showed me how to use all of the different things within the app. So hopefully this will come in handy, and I am very happy to help. If you have any questions at all, you are free to send me a message on Twitter, and I know that Coach Adame would not mind as well, and both of our Twitter addresses are posted right here. Thank you so much for joining us in this webinar today, and if you have any questions, I'll check that feed and get back with anyone who's got something.
Make sure you tell them to stay tuned for the link so that they can get credit.
Please stay tuned. There's going to be a link in just a moment where you can receive credit and turn it in for this course.
Any other questions?
If anyone else has a question, now's a great time to post it.